I know what you're thinking. With a title like Excuse Me, we're going to be talking about manners. But not in the traditional sense that you're thinking. You're probably also thinking, what am I doing on this ladder? Nothing, I just like hanging out. So what we're going to attempt is to figure out why exactly we use manners. Excuse me, man. Go. Thanks. Hey, excuse me?
Yeah,
Do you mind if I take the chair?
go for it, man.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Excuse me. An even bigger question. Why do we use manners so often, but don't really mean it? So let's get started. All right, we made it here, our first interview. It's at Carleton University at Dundon Towers. It's with Samantha Mitchell. She's an anthropologist and sociology major. Come along.
I think a long time ago, like almost prehistoric, I think that people needed to get along better with each other. We used to have nomadic groups of people, so they really never had to interact with each other, but once you're thrown into an urban atmosphere, I think they needed to figure out a way to sort of mingle and coexist. So you sort of gave up your individual existence so that the crowd would work well together, and really feel that you don't want to say these things or to act politely or respectfully or to oblige to whatever your culture has dictated as personal etiquette, proper personal etiquette, then that's fine, but you need to understand that you're deviating from the norm and there are repercussions.
I had to know if there was more to manners than what I thought I knew, so I got to sit in on a workshop conducted at Algonquin College by Suzanne Norris, an instructor in social and business etiquette.
Why? Break that down. What did you not find welcoming about me? I look too serious? Okay. Did I look like somebody you wanted to spend 50 minutes with? You did? Oh, okay. Wow. You're easy to please. Wish I'd stayed home and cleaned out the refrigerator. Your technical skills and knowledge account for 15% of the reason you get a job, keep a job, advance in a job. 85% of your job success are those others. We all know somebody who's technically brilliant, but you keep them in the back room, you don't want them to interact with your client. The Nixon-Kennedy debates. U.S. presidents, you've heard of John F. Kennedy. All right, everybody knows what John F. Kennedy looks like. All right. Pretty tanned, athletic. And remember Nixon? You know, jumbly face. Which is, I'm glad about it. The people who heard the radio debates between Nixon and Kennedy, Nixon won. Those who watched it on TV said Kennedy won. I do that to demonstrate those 5 seconds when you walk in the door, whether we like to admit it or not, we've all done it. You look at somebody and somewhere in the back of your mind you think, interesting, I'd like to talk to them, or, oh my goodness, I don't want to talk to her.
To my surprise, the workshop was an hour and a half of just understanding the norm when it comes to business introductions. She could not stress enough the importance of first impressions. There are so many guidelines just to make sure you don't look bad. It's almost selfish of society to think that we should be jumping through hoops just to impress. I had to understand it from the instructor's point of view, just to see how she would rationalize it.
It's not so much about the knife and fork. Yes, that's important. How we shake hands, that's important. I would never embarrass them unless they ask me.
Especially, excuse me, I didn't want to say it, but I had to say it because...
Well, it might be lying. It might just not be. Well, can I give you an example that just happened? You saw how I started the workshop. I put on something that I hoped would look inappropriate for networking. And I had my hair all bunched up. And there were a couple of people doing some sound equipment. And I put on this old sweater and I put my hair in the clip. And I looked at them and I said, do I look messy? And I could see their faces. they were thinking, you don't look appropriately attired for what you're about to do, but they didn't want to insult me. And then I said, I'm supposed to look messy. Oh yeah, you do.
I must have missed something after that interview. I still didn't feel as if manners or social etiquette should be allowed into our lives. But of course, maybe it's something in the back of my mind that I just can't accept. The fact that we can allow these double standards because it allows us to feel comfortable in situations that would usually make us uncomfortable. Alright, our journey has brought us to Dr. Maggie Mammon. She's a family psychologist who specializes in children. So we're here to find out and ask the ultimate question. Why do people use these guidelines if they don't believe it?
Well, given that manners really, to me, indicate the respect that you have for another person as part of the communication, between and among people, I think the earlier we start socializing our children to grow into a world that's going to then be amenable to them and allow them to function well, then the earlier we start, the better.
Some pointers or step-by-step on how to introduce it to a child's life?
The parents, first of all, have to buy in to the idea that manners are important.
I look at manners, especially nowadays, like I said, it's a second nature, and people just do it and they don't know why they do it.
Right.
Would you say that's sort of a lie in some sense? I said I'm sorry, but really I'm not sorry. Is that?
That's again an interesting question. I think sometimes we have to fake it till we make it, and where you consider the interaction to be finished. If I send you a thank you card and you send me a thank you card thanking me for my thank you card, where does it end?
Could these guidelines have any sort of negative effect on a person?
Yeah, absolutely. So is there a downside? I guess there could be. People might not get to know who you are behind this sort of front of manners.
So what do we know so far? Well, the truth is, manners can't be taken away from society. We know that they're evolving every day, and in some way, we know that they're lies. But we accept them anyways because of the way they make us feel.